a match between Jimmy Havoc and LA Park.
And it's going to be strong style at its finest.
Sacrifice, grace and mercy. Nothing they can do to stop this abuse. Don't lose your culture. Don't lose your culture.
Assembly Bill number 78 of 2019. This morning, the National Assembly members will proceed to a committee of the whole House to consider the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019 by Honorable Wafula Wamunyenyi. And this is to resume from new clauses. There are a number of clauses that have been proposed to be inserted, while others to be deleted in this particular bill. This bill also, there are new clauses that have been proposed, new insertions, among them the establishment of the Kenya Sugar Research Institute and appointment of crop inspectors. On this bill, some of the new clauses. One is that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clauses. One of the clauses is that a person who imports sugar into Kenya shall, before importation or prior to importation, that they will be needed to provide evidence that the sugar they intend to import is not available in the local market. They'll also be required to provide a sample of the sugar to be imported and a pre-import verification certificate from the country of origin. And they'll also be required to obtain pre-import approval from the board. It goes ahead to say that if a person who contravenes this section commits an offense and shall, on conviction, be liable to imprisonment for a term not proceeding 5 years, or to a fine not exceeding 10 million shillings, or both. It also says a licensed sugar miller shall be licensed by the board to carry out the business of processing industrial sugar. The board shall regulate the processing of industrial sugar. A look at this new part, that is the establishment of the Kenya Sugar Research Institute, is that it seeks to establish a body to be known as the Kenya Sugar Research Institute. And the mandate of the institute, or rather the institute, will be a body corporate with perpetual succession and a common seal, and shall in its corporate name be capable of some of the mandates that this particular institute, that is the Kenya Sugar Research Institute, will be having. They're saying that it can sue as well as it can be sued. It also be required to take a purchase and otherwise acquire, hold, charging and disposing of movable and immovable property. Also borrowing and lending money, entering into contracts, and doing or performing all other things or acts necessary for the proper performance of its functions. under this act, which may lawfully be done or performed by a body corporate. The institute also shall promote, coordinate, and regulate research in sugar and sugar disease, and expedite equitable access to research information, resources, and technology, as well as promote the application of research findings and technology in the development of sugar. It goes ahead to say that for the purposes of carrying out this function, then the institute shall formulate policy and make policy recommendations to the Cabinet Secretary on sugar research, prioritize areas for and coordinate sugar research in Kenya in line with the national policy on sugar, determine and advise the government on the resource requirements for sugar research in Kenya, both at the national and county level. It will also be required to regulate, monitor, and ensure that all sugar research undertaken by other institutions or persons undertaking sugar research is consistent with the national priorities specified in the relevant policy documents. It also has the purpose to formulate or approve medium and long-term research plans, strategies, and budgets of the institute. There are actually a number of functions that have been outlined for this particular institute. Those are just but a few. There's also the developing of agronomic packages for sugarcane maintenance and management. It will also be required to establish platforms for the purpose sharing of research and information, advancing research and transfer of technology and dissemination of information relating to advancement made in sugar research. So those are just but some of the contents of the sugar bill that the House will be proceeding on a committee of the whole House to see whether they will consider or reject. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 42A, subsection 5, a number of members will be asking questions or posing questions to relevant authority. The members for Tigania East, Honorable Josephat Kabebea, will be set to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works to respond to why the upgrading of Mikinduri Kunati Gatithie Road in Tigania East constituency is yet to commence over 4 years since the contract for the works was awarded. Well, I will now hand you over to the live broadcasting of this morning session. This is brought to you in conjunction with the Kenya Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit and Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Kamche Menza. Welcome.
Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambayo umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe na ili kustawisha amani, fanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. we will require a few more members, so we will order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Well, the Deputy Speaker, National Assembly, Moses Cheboy, has just ordered that the bell be rung for 10 minutes so that the House can attain the required quorum to continue with the House business this morning. Deputy Speaker, National Assembly, Moses Cheboy, is the one overseeing this morning's National Assembly session. So the bell will be rung for 10 minutes to allow members to walk into the House before the House can commence its business for this morning, the 13th of October 2021. So provisions, that is pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 42A, subsection 5, a number of members will be set to ask relevant authorities some questions. On this morning, the member for Tigania East, Honorable Josephat Kabebea, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works what measures the ministry is putting in place to ensure that the said road, which is currently impassable, is urgently rehabilitated before the rainy season. This is with regards to the upgrading of the Mikinduri, Kunati, Gatithia Road in Tigania East constituency that is yet to commence over 4 years since the contract for the works was awarded. Members there slowly trickling into the House. The other question that member for Tigania East, Honorable Kabebea, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure and Public Works is whether there are plans by the ministry to ensure that that particular said road is upgraded to bitumen standards. This will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. Member for Arueda, Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, will also ask the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works whether he could provide the status of construction of the Luanda Akado Kalandini Road and a low volume silt tamaking in Rarieda constituency, which stalled at Nyandiwa Bridge with only approximately 4.8 kilometers remaining to completion. He'll also ask whether the Cabinet Secretary is able to state the total amount of money that was allocated for that particular road, the amount already paid to the contractor, and the outstanding amount, if any. Again, what action does the ministry ordinarily take against contractors who fail to meet their contractual obligations in the implementation of road projects, for instance, abandoning sites without having completed projects awarded to them? And could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the actions that could be taken against the contractor assigned to the said road who has since abandoned site? Remember, this morning's National Assembly session had kicked off, but due to lack of quorum, Deputy Speaker, National Assembly, Honorable Moses Cheboy, ordered that the bell be rung for 10 minutes just to allow more members to walk into the chambers to enable the House attain its requisite numbers for the House business to kick off. Members are yet to come into the chambers and enable the House attain that particular number. The member for Meru County, Honorable Bishop Kawira Mwangaza will ask the Cabinet Secretary for devolution and arid and semi-arid lands that what step is the ministry taking to ensure food security in Meru County, particularly during natural disasters such as floods, drought, and famine. And that what measures has the ministry put in place to establish natural disaster preparedness mechanisms in Meru County, particularly with regard to floods, drought, and famine. This is to be replied before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. This is nominated member, Honorable Godfrey Osotsi, will also ask Cabinet Secretary for Energy whether the Cabinet Secretary could explain why Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited is operating without insurance of critical assets under public liability with consequential loss, insurance cover, and fire and perils cover for 122 substations distributed across the country, which he says it exposes strategic public installations worth over 37 billion Kenya shillings and employees to major risks in case of accidents. We'll also ask under what circumstances was the procurement of 2 insurance contracts contained in tender number KPI 9A 2RT001 INS 2122 not awarded and finalized even after completion of tender evaluation and issuing notification letters to successful bidders. That what steps is the Cabinet Secretary taking to ensure prompt completion of the procurement process and alleviate potential operational and financial risks that are likely to arise from lack of insurance cover for strategic national installations at the KPLC. This one is to be replied before the Departmental Committee on Energy. Members are yet to get into the chambers to enable the House attain its requisite number. Members there slowly walking in by one to help the House reach its number that can enable the House begin its business this morning. According to the standing orders, if a quorum does not appear to be present, then the Speaker or the Chairperson shall cause the division bell. To be rung for about 10 minutes. The requisite number for the members for the commencement of the House business is supposed to be 50 members. So then if there is not quorum present when the chair is taken at the time appointed for meeting of the House, this morning was about 9:30, immediately after the prayer, saying of the prayer, the Speaker shall order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes. And if no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, the Speaker may direct the bell be rung for a further 5 minutes. So we're still waiting for members to get into the House. About 50 members will enable the House commence its business this morning. Like I told you, there are about 13 bills that once the House this morning concludes on its committee of the whole to discuss the sugar bill by Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi, then about 13 bills will be read for the second time. A look at the Community Health Workers Bill that was done by Honorable Martin Owino. Is that the principal object of the bill is to provide a framework for the regulation of community health workers The House is still empty, as you can see. Members have not taken their seats there. But we are hoping that in no time they'll manage to get to the 50 requisite number for the House to commence its business.
Okay.
So the health community workers...
Yes, honorable members, as I said, we are still slightly short of the required numbers. So I will order that the bell rings for a further 5 minutes. The standing orders, of course, allows that. So I can see the whip is coming with a few more members.
Deputy Speaker, National Assembly there, Honorable Moses Cheboy, ordering for the bell to be rung for another 5 minutes. Remember, this is according to the standing orders of the House on the quorum at the commencement of the House, which requires that before the House commences its business, about 50 members need or should be in the House by the time when the chair is taken. Again, at the appointed time for the meeting of the House, around 9:30 is when the meeting was supposed to start, or rather this session. But the number has not been achieved. The bell has been rung for 10 minutes as required. The number is yet to be achieved. So the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Moses Cheboy, has ordered that the bell be rung for a further 5 minutes. And if there is still no quorum present, according to the standing orders, then the Speaker shall adjourn the House forthwith to the next sitting. So hopefully, the next 5 minutes, as the bell is being rung, as members are being given more time to get into the House, hopefully that number will be attained. A look at the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020 by Honorable Martin Peters Owino, which is among the bills this morning that are set to be read for the second time, is that the principal object of this bill is to provide a framework for the regulation of community health workers. The Health Act 2017, in the first schedule, recognizes community health services at level 1, in which the person in charge is the community health extension worker. The community health workers is important as this is the health personnel.
Somebody should ask the whips to come in after 3 members.
The community health worker knows the homesteads in the area he or she lives and is familiar with the language of the people. By going door to door, they are able to know the people in need of various health care services. They thus help in preventive health care. However, despite their important role, the bill says that most of these workers are volunteers and, if lucky, are only paid allowances. It is therefore important to develop a framework for their recognition and regulation so that they are entrenched in the government like other professionals. So part 1, clause 1 to 2 of the bill provides for preliminary provisions of the bill, including the short title and the interpretation clause. Part 2 of the bill, 3 to 16, deals with the establishment and functions and powers of the council.
Take your seats. Let's start business. Proceed.
Part 3, that is clause 17 to 25 of the bill, deals with the registration of training and community health workers.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Then there's also the discipline of
Order
community.
number 3, messages.
So the sergeant at arms there has indicated that the quorum has been achieved. I'll now hand you over to the live broadcast. Welcome.
Order number 6.
Let me just ask the Honorable Majority Whip, which one is it that you have? A notice? Okay, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
All right, Majority Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Chair Committee on Selection, notice of motion, the Chair of Committee on Selection, further changes in committee membership. That, further to the resolutions of the House of Tuesday, 5th December 2017, Wednesday, 15th July 2020, 11th February 2021, and 4th May 2021, appointing members to various committees and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 173, this House further approves the appointment of the following members to the respective committees specified hereunder. 1. The Honorable John Munene Wambugu, MP, to move from the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs to the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. 2. The Honorable Daniel Kipkoskei Rono, MP, to be appointed to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. 3. The Honorable Kathoni Wamushomba, MP, to move from the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock. 4. The Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, MP, to move from the Committee on Regional Integration to the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. 5. The Honorable Benjamin Kadhiru Mwangi, MP, to move from the Select Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity to the Committee on Regional Integration. 6. The Honorable George Ndungu Koimburi, MP, to be appointed to the Select Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. 7. The Honorable John Juguna Wanjiku, MP, to be appointed to the Select Committee on Implementation. And 8. The Honorable Mohammed Lokiru Ali, MP, to move from the Departmental Committee on Energy to the Departmental Committee on Education and Research. And then finally 9, the Honorable Pavel Oimeke, MP, to be appointed to the Departmental Committee on Energy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Under this particular order, we will be having questions, ordinary questions. Starters off is the Honorable Member for Tigania East, Honorable Josephat Kaveavea.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to ask question number 388 of 2021. Is directing the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works. So I ask the Cabinet Secretary, why is the upgrading of Mekindori Kunate Gatidine Road in Tigania East constituency yet to commence over 4 years since the contract for the works was awarded to one elite construction company? What measures is the ministry putting in place to ensure the said road, which is currently impassable, completely unmotorable, is urgently rehabilitated before the rainy season. Are there plans by the ministry to ensure that the Sandy Road is upgraded to bitumen standards immediately, because it is long overdue and the people of Tigania East have suffered? The border people have gotten into serious problems. So what plans are there by the ministry to make sure that the Sandy problem?
Order. Take your seat now. You have asked the question. Please do not put new matters into the questions. You've already asked, and it's on record. I'm sure you have a problem with those roads, really. That's why you want to add every other thing on top of it. But the question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. Next is the member for Arieda, the Honorable Dr. Otienda Amolo, Senior Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 398 of 2021, directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works. Roman 1, could the Cabinet Secretary provide the status of construction of the Luanda-Akado-Kalandini Road under low volume seal tarmacking in the Rarieda constituency, which tolled at Nyandiwa Bridge with only approximately 4.8 kilometers remaining to completion? Roman 2, could the Cabinet Secretary state the total amount of money that was allocated for the road, the amount already paid to the contractor, and the outstanding amount, if any? Roman 3, what action does the ministry ordinarily take against contractors who fail to meet their contractual obligations in the implementation of road projects? For instance, abandoning sites without having completed projects awarded to them. And could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the action to be taken against the contractor assigned to the road who has since abandoned site? Roman 4, could the Cabinet Secretary state the measures that the ministry has put in place to ensure that construction of the said road resumes as soon as possible, and that the project is completed, and state the revised completion timeline? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, that's the ideal way of asking questions. Many members always indicate the different Roman numbers as different questions. So the Senior Counsel has done it very well. So that will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. The next is a member for Meru County, the Honorable Bishop Kawira Mwangaza. Okay, honorable members, actually the member had made a request which was accepted to defer this particular question. So I defer that particular question to another opportune time. So we go to the nominated member, the Honorable Godfrey Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask the question number 421 of 2021. This question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy, and it reads, Roman 1, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited is operating without insurance of critical assets under public liability, in brackets, with the consequential loss insurance cover and fire and peril cover for 122 substations distributed across the country, thereby exposing strategic public installation worth over Kenya shillings 37 billion shillings and employees to major risks in case of accidents? Roman 2, under what circumstances was the procurement of 2 insurance contracts contained in tender number KPI/RT/9A2/RT/INS/21-22 not awarded and finalized even after completion of tender evaluation and issuing notification letters to successful bidders? Roman 3, what specific steps is the Cabinet Secretary taking to ensure prompt completion of the procurement process and alleviate potential operational and financial risks that are likely to arise from lack of insurance cover for strategic national installation at Kenya Power and Lighting Company? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Energy. And that marks the end of our question time. So we go. What is the point of order? Who is that? Because there are only three. Is that Honorable Gikaria?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted you to assist me. I did ask a question in February this year regarding to the Cabinet Secretary, Transport and Infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, one of the issues was about roads being done by Kura in my region without public participation, and that was the essence of the question. To date, it is still continuing, that they are just doing roads without even engaging the public to identify which roads. Honorable Speaker, I would really want to get the committee as to why this question has never been answered since February this year. Honorable Speaker.
Now, Chair, Transport, Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works. Any member from that particular committee? Well, of course, not the ones who have just been, whose notice has just been issued. I'm talking about those ones who are actively in the committee. Now, in absence of the team, I would ask the majority whip to please take it up. Let's get to know why the Honorable Gikaria's question has not been replied to. And that is about 8 months, is it? 8 months, and that is actually serious. Well, but I'm sure also we'll use other avenues to make sure that the chair is informed that this is a matter that is long overdue, should have been answered much, much earlier. Okay, so we go to the next order.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members. We are now in the Committee of the Whole. The Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019 by the Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi, MP. Now, we are resuming, last time we did clause 3 to clause 38. So, we are now moving. We'll be starting with the new clauses, actually. So, yes, what is it? That should be Honorable Washieri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, in as much as we have moved that far, up to clause 38, we had some clauses that we had not resolved, Chair. And this, I'm speaking on behalf of Honorable Oundo, who had pointed out some typos in clause 36, and he was very specific. But we left this matter hanging. But under Standing Order number 152, Sabat 3, I think it gives us a solution on what we need to do. Because the Standing Order is very clear, and it reads, at any time before the certification of the bill, the Speaker may correct formal errors or oversights therein without changing the substance of the bill, and thereafter submit the bill to the President for assent. And I was thinking, Honorable Chair, that I think this would be the best time for us to point out so that we can have this corrected. And it was mentioned. I hope.
Yes.
And the errors in this case, Honorable Chair, is in clause 36, as proposed by Honorable Oundo, was in line 1, there is a repetition of this. It was repeated twice. And then subject to subsection 2. The subsection 2, which was referred to, is no longer in the bill. I thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Sherry, that is fair enough. Actually, as you have rightly said, the Speaker, which is fairly administrative, when there are typo issues and typographical issues, that is actually resolved at the clerk's office. And it is good you are pointing it out, and it was pointed out last time. And that is fairly administrative. But when there is an issue on a clause that has been dealt with, that is substantive, and that requires the House to relook on the clause, that's why we have the recommittal. And I'm actually aware, I think there are 2 clauses that will be subjected to a recommittal later on. But on the typos, you are right. And you have gone on record again on the same. That will be dealt with at the clerks and administrative level. But it's good that you're on record again on the same. So, honourable members, we shall proceed with the new clauses.
New clause 4A.
We shall have new clause 4A. The mover. Who is the mover? Yes, Honourable Chair for Agriculture, Honourable Tiren, you can move for the second reading of the new clause.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move for the second reading, clause 2 of the new bills as it is in the order paper. The bill be amended by deleting clause 2 and substituting therefore with the following. Sorry, not clause 2. It's supposed to be in clause 4. Sorry for that.
For clause 4A.
Clause 4A, not clause 2. Clause 2 will come at the end. The new clause, sorry. Okay. I beg to move the new clause that the bill be amended as it is on the order paper. Then I go direct to the justification of the new clause 2.4a.
Not new clause 2.4a. It is actually new clause 4a specifically. You can just because it is already outlined in the order paper. What the members will be waiting for is the import or the rationale of the new clause, so that you carry the members along.
Okay. New clause 4a. That is it, huh?
Yeah.
The justification of the rationale is that the county governments have been assigned functions related to the agriculture and trade in agriculture under the 4th schedule of this constitution. It is therefore imperative to assign specific roles and functions to the county government. The new clause 4a therefore assigns those functions to the county government as proposed in the new clause 4a, paragraph A to E.
Honourable members, I propose a question that new clause 4a be now read a second time. Honourable members, yes, Honourable Oresan Kok, you can have one member, then we make progress.
Honourable Speaker, if you can see 4AE, establish an efficient, that is the county government, establish an efficient road network for the movement of sugarcane, delivery of other services, and general development of the sugar industry. We know our constitution prescribes very well which roads are for county government. Now, sometimes the sugar belt can be within those roads that are within the national government. Now, will they now maintain all the roads that are next to any sugar plantation or sugar factory? Thank you, Chair.
Yes, is that Honorable Koyo?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the sugar roads, the roads that my friend is speaking to are well defined as sugar roads. They are within the provision of the sugar factories, and they are always maintained by the sugar industries. Now that the county government is going to take over, we are giving them the role, they must also take charge of those roads.
Okay, very well. 1 minute, Honorable Afura Munyinyi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Clearly, county governments have been assigned functions by the Constitution. Agriculture is one of the devolved functions. But at the same time, the area within which cane is grown and collected from farms, roads must be maintained. It is therefore important that other than the others, the county government needs to have functions to deal with within a particular area.
Very well.
So we support this, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let's make progress really on this one. I now put the question that new clause 4A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I propose the question that new clause 4A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 4A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
New clause 5A.
Mover, please move the second reading of new clause 5A. Honorable Tiren.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move clause 5A for the second reading as it is on the order paper. That the bill be amended by inserting the following immediately after clause 5. After clause 5. Then I go direct to the justification. The rationale for the new clause 5A. There is need to provide for a duration within which the board member can serve. The provision provides for the term of the board as being 3 years. Thank you.
Chair.
Let me propose a question first. Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 5A be now read a second time. Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I rise to support the provision of the duration of the board member for the 3 years. And this is also it's also consistent with the state corporations, because this is going to be a state corporation, and the state corporation and the Mwongozo guideline provides for the 3 years. So it is good for purposes of consistency.
Very well. Member for Tidenet. Yeah. Member for Tidenet, please proceed. I think you are not on record. Be on that borrowed mic. The sins are yours for not coming with a...
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Chair, as actually expounded by the member for Kiminini, it's actually to follow the Mwongozo, and 2, to ensure that the board doesn't collapse with the expiry of all the term of all the 4 members. So we stagger it to ensure that the membership is there and the board shall continue when one member retires. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable members, if you can take a minute or so, and then I'll have to balance, not so that we also make progress, but also give members an opportunity to say something.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to support this introduction with the new clause 5A, because, Honorable Chair, there are also those people who want to be board members forever. We don't want to encourage that a person becomes a permanent board member. Therefore, let us give a caveat of the period so that new entrants can come in as and when the 3 years can expire. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I will now put the question that new clause 5A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 5A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 5A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 5B.
Honorable Chair, second reading of new clause 5B.
Thank you. Thank you. I beg to move for the second reading new clause 5B as it is on the order paper. The rationale, let me go direct to the rationale on that. The intention of this clause 5B. There is need to provide for a vacation of office for the persons serving in the board. These are in turns where one is unable to discharge the functions. Instance where one is unable to discharge his functions of the office. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 5B be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Udo.
Chair, in principle, I support the amendment, the proposed amendment. However, we seem to have either left out a very critical aspect concerning if a member is declared unable to hold office by virtue of the Chapter 6 of the Constitution and relevant legislation. Probably this is an area we ought to have picked so that we make it tidier and cleaner. But as it is, it's okay. Save to only now the issue of number D is convicted of a criminal offense and sentenced to a term. I suppose that is okay. But just the missing out that particular aspect in relation to ethics and integrity chapter of the Constitution could be a big problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's have honorable. Yes, let's have honorable. You don't have your card. I can't trace you on.
I don't have.
Proceed. You have the mic. You still have the mic.
Okay.
Although.
Thank you, Speaker. I also stand to support the amendment, insertion of the new clause 5B, in that definitely if somebody is not able to perform his or her duties anymore due to many factors, he or she should cease to be a member and be replaced. And also it is important to show that officers of the Sugar Board should not also be part of become board members. So in that I support the insertion of clause 5B as it is in the order paper. Thank you.
Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I support this amendment, especially amendment number 2, which makes it that somebody cannot, having become a chair of the board, and then you are able to maybe award yourself to be an agent or to even be employed by the board, then you should be able to cease being a member. That way, it avoids the conflict of interest. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Nyikal.
Chair, I rise to support this, but I have a problem with D. Is convicted of a criminal offense and sentenced to a term of imprisonment of exceeding 6 months without the option of a fine. I see that, what about if there's the option of a fine? He has 6 months, he or she has 6 months, but is given the option of a fine. That means the person who pays the fine can come back to the board. In my mind, I think it should be 6 months with or without the option of a fine, so that once you have been actually convicted and sentenced to more than 6 months, you cannot be a member of the board. So I would ask maybe the chair or the mover that we do further amendments there and say with or without the option of a fine, or just say not exceeding 6 months, full stop.
Okay.
I would really see, because then there would be some discrimination there.
Let's hear Honorable Afura Munyinyi, and I'll come back to the chair.
Chair, it's the same thing I wanted to raise. I think it's a matter of concern. If you notice, all past proposals, legislation that we have done, there has been that gap. And we need to sort this out so that it doesn't appear like when you pay a fine, even if you are convicted for a criminal offense, and you pay a fine, you go back to your station. That I think we need to correct that, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that, Chair, you are taking note of what the members are saying, because I'll come back to you, because they are raising a fair point. Honorable Kilonzo.
Chair.
As a member, as a chair, organizes his thoughts to...
Chair, we don't legislate the obvious. When somebody dies, he's already dead. So you don't need to put G. So I think we should treat that as a type also. Because once you're dead, you're dead. So you don't legislate the obvious. That's why you don't legislate to say at this time you can go to the toilet and all that. So I think G should be treated as a typo and we remove it.
Well, when they die, indeed. When somebody is dead, is dead. I'll give the final one, then we have the chair. Honorable, yes. You also don't have a card.
Chair.
Honorable Sotsi.
Chair, the reading of this amendment leaves out a very fundamental issue. Because if you look at the appointment, it is the Cabinet Secretary gazettes the members of the board. What happens when the same Cabinet Secretary is unhappy with some of the members of the board? It is not, the gazettement is not listed as one of the reasons of a member ceasing to be a member of the board. I think it will be clean if we say the gazettement by the Cabinet Secretary, because there will be moments where the Cabinet Secretary will feel someone has to be sacked. So that particular member can be degazetted. It is not listed. So by dint of this amendment, it means that one can be appointed by the Cabinet Secretary and it will be very difficult to remove it or her from the board membership.
But Honorable Sotsi, I don't know, but do you want to give a person in the name of a Cabinet Secretary the latitude to gazette and degazette? Isn't the gazettement based on the issues raised, the 1 to A to G?
Chair, since you have given him the latitude to gazette, you should also give him the latitude to degazette.
Well, you have
there are moments where it will be tenable for you to degazette a member of the board.
Fair enough.
Of course, under some conditions.
Chair, please. We must make progress.
I wanted to give one of my members.
Oh, you want to give? Yes, Honorable Mary, yes. Is that one of your members? Yes, please. And we must make progress on this.
Yes, thank you, Chair. We are making progress. I thank the Chair for giving this chance. I think if we allow the Cabinet Secretary to degazette, actually we are sapping the power of the people. It is the people who elected the board, and the Cabinet Secretary has no role. His duty is to gazette, so that the board shall act independently. So if we are going to insert that issue, what Honorable Osotsi is saying, Chair, I think it will actually water down the whole issue of the sugar board. And I think that is exactly the same thing we did in tea board. But I support, because all the issues that we have been raised is actually removing and doing the typos, and everything will be okay. I thank you, Chair. I support.
Chair, please, you have the space now.
Thank you.
Based on what some members raised here.
Thank you very much, Chair, for that opportunity. And I think members have talked very well. And I would agree. And also what Meli has said is very clear. Let the board decide. Let's not give it to an individual, because once you give the CS, you'll be giving one person to make those decisions. Once the board has raised an issue and it goes, then it can be taken that direction. On the issue of the conviction, the one of 5B, D, the conviction of a criminal offense, sentenced to a term of prison with exceeding, with or without the option of fine. I think it should be, we need a further amendment on that so that we put it on both, so that we are able to capture that. Thank you.
Then you need to go on record. Do it
so
now.
How to do a further amendment such that it's going to read this way, that D will be is convicted in a criminal offense and sentenced to a term of imprisonment of exceeding 6 months with or without the option of a fine.
Okay. You need to record that so that I sign it. But honorable members, I put the question that new clause 5B be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 5B be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 5B be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 7A.
Honorable members, Honorable Chair, new clause 7A.
Thank you very much, Chair. I beg to propose for clause 7 for read a second time. The bill be amended as inserted in the following new clause immediately after clause 7. The justification of the rationale of clause 7A. The new clause 7A gives powers to the board to establish committees for efficiency purposes. This is still in line with the Mwongozo guidelines. This is to ease the operations of the board where matters are considered by the committee before consideration by the board. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 7A be now read a second time. I'll give members who haven't spoken on this. There is a member at the far end. A manico, please. Well, there are members who are interested and they haven't spoken. I'll give them a chance.
Thank you, Chair. I rise to support this amendment. This is very good for ease of work and even efficiency, because committees will be able to handle specific tasks in detail. Thank you.
Very well. Yes, let's have Honorable Oudo.
Chair, the amendment is right and it's the normal practice nowadays. However, there could be some mischief, not one to call it mischief as such, but probably a misuse under our subsection 2, where it allows the boards to co-opt to sit in the committee established and such other person whose knowledge and skills are necessary for the performance of the functions of the board. Some of those skills are basically management. I'm not so sure what's the impact or the importance of this, other than to find your friends and colleagues or outside there to come and sit for the purpose of earning allowances. But probably as it is, we can leave it to go that way. But this area is a mischief there.
Honorable members, I will put the question that new clause 7A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 7A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 7A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 9A.
Chair. New clause 9A.
No, clause 9 or 10. Clause 10. New clause 15. Unless it should be new clause 15. Just check. 15 is a new clause, if I'm not wrong.
New clause 15A.
Yeah, correct.
Wait.
Just check.
Honorable members, yes, I have confirmed. Actually, there is no new clause 9A. Although in the schedule here it is actually new clause 15.
No, 15. New clause 15A.
Yeah, new clause 15A. I can tell the members are quite alert, which is very good. This is sugar.
I thought sugar is sweet. Can I proceed?
This is sugar.
Yeah, sugar is sweet.
And sugar is sweet. Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair, for that. I beg to move that new clause 15A be put the second time as it is on the order paper. The bill is to be amended by inserting the following new clauses immediately after clause 15 as it is in the order paper 15A. The justification 15A. 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 The objective of this new clause 15A is to regulate sugar that is being imported into the country where there is sugar available in the local market and to put in conditions to be met before the importation is carried out. The conditions must be met before the board issues a certificate under clause 15A1 paragraph C. Thank you.
I'll propose a question that new clause 15A be now read a second time. Yes, let's have the member at the far end. Yes, Honorable Nagabo. Janet.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to support this amendment. It is very important because we don't want to have the middlemen in between there. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable. Let me come here, this way first. Honorable Chris, Honorable Koyo, I can see you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we've seen in this country, particularly when we're approaching elections, many people abuse this privilege, whereby they import sugar for purposes of making money to fund elections, and we need some measures. And I remember, Chair, we discussed, and when we say they must show evidence that the sugar they intend to import is not available in the local market, we have a challenge because we discussed about the role of the board, and at times it's been conflicting or competing, for instance, with Treasury or the relevant CS. So as we move forward, I think we need to clean that particular part so that when we say, and I wish the chairman of Agriculture Committee is listening, so that we get to know, because who approves when we talk about the shortage of sugar? Is it the board? We assume it's supposed to have gotten maybe this from the board. And again, when you say provide, you are providing evidence to who? You are again providing evidence to the board. I think the issue of the board, there must be clarity, because many times the CSS have been abusing this privilege, whereby they unilaterally go and issue those permits for importation. And I think with this clause, it's going to help in curing that. We support. Thank you.
Sankok.
Yeah.
Honorable Sankok, do you want to sit your ground?
No. Chair, this issue of on the issue of provided that the sugar is not available in Kenya, is it the type of sugar? Because it says provide evidence that the sugar they intend to import, meaning there is a type of sugar that is not available. I don't know if there is several types of sugar. I think we should only say provided that the sugar is not available in Kenya. Otherwise, they may create artificial shortage of a certain category of sugar, because sugar is sugar in any case.
Okay, let's first hear from Honorable Tum Chebet. You need the mic. Honorable Tum Chebet.
Yeah, Chair, there is need to regulate the sugar which is entering the country, so that, Honorable Chair, we need a sample need to be given so that we don't drink the mercury, and we need to know whether the said sugar is not in Kenya, so that we don't kill the sugar industry in Kenya and we don't kill our own manufacturers if the same sugar is to enter our country. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, yes. Before I come this way, let me give to Honorable Koyo. 1 minute each.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, this is the most controversial part of this bill. Sugar is always imported at the behest of important people carelessly, even without evidence that there is shortage of sugar. Yes. So we must make this version very difficult for those who intend to import sugar. They must be given evidence that sugar is lacking, and that must be made public. And if sugar is imported, there must be evidence when the importer is bringing in sugar, and so that those who are able to monitor can monitor the ship and be able to know how much when it finally arrives. It is not something we can just leave carelessly in the hands of sugar board.
Okay, let's hear Honorable Pukose. I am sure the chair, you are taking note of what the members are raising. Honorable members, I'm lingering a bit here because it is important.
Chair, thank you. Chair, I would want to persuade the chair to make a further amendment, because when you look at 15AB, provide a sample of the sugar. Whom are you providing the sample to? So I would want him to say provide a sample to KBC, because KBC is the one that keeps the standards. So provide the sugar, provide a sample of the sugar to be imported to KBC, and pre-import verification certificate from the country of origin. Whom are you giving that pre-import certificate? Because it has to be clear. You remember the issue of the mercury sugar. Was it now you had, is KBC the one which is responsible, or it is the government chemist? Because that has to come out very clearly. So I would want that if this you provide it to KBC, the sample should go to KBC, because KBC is the one that gives all the standardizations. Then that sugar will be deemed to be standard sugar that can be imported.
Let's hear Honorable Murigi. We haven't heard from Honorable Murigi.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I raise to support this amendment. Chair, there is importance of providing the evidence that the sugar is intended to be imported, because some of the importers, they take advantage of our market, Mr. Speaker, even when the sugar is there and is enough. Secondly, Mr. Chair, I would like to concur with my fellow members, whereby we hope to strengthen B and C, where the evidence or the sample of the sugar which is being provided is provided to the KBC or the ones who are supposed to standardize. Then C, obtain pre-import approval from the board or from the country of origin. The bond, or maybe where that pre-import is supposed to be given, so that it can be verified.
From Honorable Afura Mnyinyi, I can see the chair is still consulting. I'm giving him time. I'll come to you, Whip, but I'm giving chance so that the chair consults. Honorable Afura Mnyinyi, please.
Import of sugar, Chair, has not been properly regulated in the past. In fact, if you saw the report, the last report of investigation from government chemists, from the laboratories, about the sugar that had been imported, which was said to be unfit for human consumption, it was because of the failures. And it is important that this is dealt with at this time so that we prevent such from happening. In fact, Mr. Chair, the only issue which I think we may have to note is make provision, clear express as to where the testing can be done. If it is KBC, let it be KBC. If it's government chemist, or both, Mr. Chair, because there is no harm. So long as an arm of government that is responsible for this is tasked to do that assignment. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Whip.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to agree with the amendments as proposed by the Chair, and also that further amendment sought by the Honorable Dr. Pukose, because it's very important to be specific to which board are we going to submit. But Chair, I want to insist on the amendment 15A, Part A. The evidence that the sugar they intend to import is not available in the local market. Honorable Chair, there is this habit where unscrupulous business people create a vacuum in form of sugar being not available. So it's important we tighten that loophole so that they don't import sugar, yet when you go to Nzoia Sugar Factory, the stores are full. When you go to Butali, the stores are full. Let us ask them to produce evidence that the sugar they want to import is not available.
Honorable Sheri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you will agree with me that
this new clause 15A is attracting a lot of reaction, and I think this is where we have had a very big problem from the previous experience. And therefore, I wanted to request the chair to be very careful on what he puts here, because this will determine on how we handle this sector. Chair, we have also had an issue of how we import sugar, and the manner in which we handle the sugar that is imported. Because sometimes we bring in bulk sugar, and this bulk sugar is exposed to moisture in the ocean, and in the process, even if it would have met the standards at the point of origin, when it gets here, it would already have been contaminated, and that's how we got mercury and all this. So we must be very specific that sugar must be imported in bags that are marked by the company that has manufactured. This clause must be very, very clear. And the issue of caps, we should not leave that statement hanging. I've heard what Honorable Bukosa said. It must be approved by Kenya Bureau of Standards. It should not just be the issue of issuing certificates or whatever, but it should be approved by the Kenya Bureau of Standards before it's imported.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, let me know when, Chair, you have consulted enough, because we also can't be on this clause forever. Let's hear from this side. Honorable Udo.
Chair, I want to join also my colleagues in basically expressing reservation on 15A1A. I think B has already been indicated. Ordinarily, there should be one of the mandates or the functions of the board is to monitor the sugar industry. I think that before anybody is allowed to import, there must be a report indicating the sugar shortage in this country, so that we go probably in a more complete and different approach of inviting bidders who are sugar importers to import based on the recorded or published shortage. I think that should be, and that's why I would request the chair, if you could allow, probably we recommit this particular new clause so that we do further amendment to tighten the loopholes that have been exploited and abused in the past. And then, Honorable Chair, we should also try to make it clear that a miller should never be given a license to import sugar, because that process kills the sugarcane farmers. Because it's cheaper to import, they will leave the sugarcane to rot in the farms as they import sugar. Thank you, Chair.
Let's hear Honorable Mutunga. Honorable Mutunga hasn't spoken. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I am a member of the committee, and I want to reflect back during the last year or the other year when we were discussing the sugar matters and the kind of experience we went through. Chair, when sugar is supposed to be imported here, there are different types of sugar, depending on the purpose or the use of that particular sugar when it lands into this country. Before importation, there must be pre-export, pre-import inspection on the other side. That we must be satisfied that that sugar meets the conditions of this country in terms of the user. And secondly, Chair, the bulk importation and bagging are two issues we need to be very careful when we legislate. Bulk importation can bring sugar up to the port of entry without any contamination. I want to repeat that, Chair. Internationally approved vessels for transportation of sugar have got the capacity to land sugar in Mombasa or whatever the port of entry without any form of contamination. So if we block that out, we will be interfering with the international trading system, and we shall also make sugar very costly. Because if you do bagging at the port of export, on the other side at the source, then you bring in a lot of other issues in terms of, increasing the labor, the handling aspect of it. So that's an issue we need to consider. The other issue, Chair, it is okay the way the clause is in terms of declaring evidence. But evidence is not given by these individuals. Evidence is given by the government. And somebody has spoken to the fact that the authority must be monitoring. One of the functions of the authority is to monitor the sugar scarcities or, the sugar supply chain, so that we are sure that the supplies management meets the records that it can probably inform importation. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kioni hasn't gotten a chance. And honorable members, I have really lingered on this one. Really, Honorable Kioni.
Mr. Chairman, just before the question, and I speak as a person coming from a non-sugar growing area. And the concern that I think needs to be factored, and I'm sure it's likely have been captured in the bill, is on the issue of the cost of production. Because for us, it doesn't matter what kind of law we put in place. If the cost of production is such that the sugar from outside is cheaper than from the one from inside, then it beats the purpose for everything that we do. So we must also address the cost of production of sugar in our country. And I believe that the drafters of the bill will have paid attention to that, because that alone will negate the whole exercise of doing a bill. If we do a bill to protect a product that is more expensive here than it is from outside the country, it beats the market.
Honorable Mary, have a minute.
Chair, from the onset, I support this amendment, but I want to ask my ranking member, Honorable Kioni, that as much as our local sugar, ranking member, our local sugar is expensive. In other parts of the world, governments protect the interest of the citizens. It is not about this country being a market of other countries. So, Honorable Chair, I just go straight to the point that what Honorable Undo just indicated, and I want to ask the Chair that we do a further amendment, that a miller should not be allowed to import. And on this basis, Chair, I come from sugar growing areas. We know of a number of millers who just build very small factories. They will just pick around 600 tons of sugar. Then their whole business is to import sugar. So that by the end of the day, I think you saw something that was viral in the media a few weeks ago. It was in my constituency, where there was a fleet of tractors along the road, and these tractors were queuing, and the miller is picking 150 tons of sugar per day. Tons per day. If you understand that, Chair, Chemelil Sugar Company used to have 4,000 tons per day. Now an individual says he's a miller and he's only taking 150 tons per day. Another one is taking 400 per day. Then he says he controls 40% of the market. From where? So in this case, we must stop the miller from importing and have somebody else who is different to import, because if we allow the miller to import, by the end of the day, you'll realize that the farmer, the miller, will stop the business of manufacturing and now engages in what Honorable Kioni was saying, go and import the cheap sugar. So, okay. Honorable Chair, I ask that the committee chair looks into this again, and then we can actually tighten the loophole and save the farmer. I thank you.
Honorable Chair, you have the space now.
You have spoken.
Thank you. I just wanted to add one or two things before on what members have raised. But I don't know, because I think what we have done is that if members can remember clearly, that we've put in the board, or rather the sugar board that we formed, we made sure that all stakeholders were included in the board. And we thought that was going to check some of these issues, because it is the board that will make decisions on what should be imported and who should import. I also wanted to add that millers, when they are being licensed, they give their capacity, or they give their quantities of milling, so that where a miller is not able to buy or is not able to mill a particular percentage and the sugar cane was available locally, then they should not be, of course, they should be looked into and checked why they are doing that, and so that they are not allowed to not to mill and be allowed to import. But as members are saying, if they feel we need to look into it, I shall be willing, because I want to also make sure that we tighten all areas that bring in importation, because that's one of the challenges that has faced our farmers. Okay. So,
the chair is on his feet. Proceed, honorable.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair.
Then I wanted to touch on the issues that was raised about the standards or KEBS or which other, where it is very clear. I want to remind members, if we can go back to clause 26 that we passed on the other day, is that I want you to read, and maybe I may just touch a bit of clause 26, the old one, that the bill be amended by deleting 26 and substituting therefore with the following clauses. If you remember 26(1), all sugar millers and importers shall ensure that the sugar produced locally or imported into the country meets safety and quality standards as set by the body for the time being responsible for setting standards, which I don't know, KEBS and all the others will be included there because it's going to cover on the issues. There is also the safety on health standards and food handlers and the rest. If you go and read 26(1)(a), B and C, it will cover issues, the one you wanted to KEBS or you wanted which area to be of standard. So I think committee sorted out that, and I think that one should remain as it is. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Honourable members, I'll put the question that new clause 15A. All the members, I'll now put the question. We must make progress. What is out of order, Honourable Whip? What is out of order?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I want to appreciate you for giving me the chance.
Yes.
The amendment suggested by Honourable Meli goes to the root of the problems in the sugar industry. It's important the Chair expresses himself on that because he's the lead of this bill, so that we all endorse it to Honourable Chair. What is the problem that came into this House on the sugar bill, on the sugar issue, is because a miller was importing on behalf of others. Therefore, Honourable Chair, let us curb the millers from importing so that later our farmers enjoy the benefit of their sweat.
Order members, let me advise so that we make progress. Honourable Whip, you know the standing order. There is nothing that stops you from recommitting, and then you get a bit of space to talk and negotiate and agree. So nothing stops us from doing a recommittal at some point, so that then members get an opportunity to discuss this even further. Even when the clause is approved now, when we are reporting, you can do a recommittal. That means we revisit all that, because we must make progress. I put the question that new clause 15A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The nays have it. In that case, I will not put the final part of that bill to be part of the bill because there is a nay. Honourable members, I want us to revisit other members. Honourable Sankok, you are the one who had said that there was no new clause 9A, and the members seem to have agreed with you. Actually, there is a new clause 9A. I think what happened, the new clause 9A came much later in the order paper. Actually, it's in page 1277. And it was not proposed by, the proposed amendment is not by the chair, it's actually by Honorable Wafula Munyinyi. So in that case, I think it is fair enough to revisit new clause 9A. If you go to your order paper, page 1277, it is there. So we shall revisit that, then we give Wafula Munyinyi an opportunity. Please.
New clause 9A.
Honorable Wafula Munyinyi.
Thank you, Chair. This is for members who have not spotted it. It's page 1277. Page 1277.
Proceed. Input.
Mr. Chair, I beg to move that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clause immediately after clause 9. 9A. 1. The headquarters of the board shall be in Kisumu County. And B. The board may establish offices in other parts of the country as the board may determine. Mr. Chair, the reason why we came up with this proposed amendment is after I was convinced by a number of members and stakeholders that we did consult with, that in the spirit of devolution and in the spirit of decentralization of functions in the country for purposes of ensuring effective management, effective delivery of service to the people, to the stakeholders and partners within the sector, this headquarters be placed in Kisumu, because that is where the major stakeholders who are cane farmers are in that area. They are in Kakamega, they are in Bungoma, they are in Nyanza, and they are in other parts in that area, Mr. Chair. Why should we have a headquarter of, like, for example, maize, Mr. Chair? The managing director of Cereals Board sitting in industrial area in Nairobi, when maize is grown in Eldoret, in Kitale, in Nakuru, where the granary is. But, Mr. Chair, I would like to inform members also that for accessibility, for easy accessibility of the headquarters by the players.
Okay, very well.
By the players, I propose that this amendment be supported, Mr. Chair. I thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 9A be now read a second time. I'll give only 2 members, particularly those who haven't spoken on this. We shall have Honorable Makari.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, while I support that amendment, that new clause, I think, Mr. Chairman, I have reservations about the board having offices in other regions. Mr. Chairman, the work of a board is strategic direction to the organization. I have no problem with it being in Kisumu, but a problem with it being given the chance to introduce other offices. So let's just say there will be a board which will be headquartered in Kisumu, and we stop it at that, Mr. Chairman. Because it's just for strategic direction and policy direction. Nothing more, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Nangabo, Janet.
Chair, I want to support the amendment. It is true the headquarters must go to Kisumu, because some of us, like from Trans Nzoia County, it will be easy for the farmers from that area to Kisumu. And it is also important because we want to devolve each and every issues so that even the growers can also benefit from that.
Honorable members, let's make progress really. Honorable members, look, members, we must balance between all members who want to speak and also making progress. Honorable Sankok, I know you can speak. Honorable Asheri, you can speak, but Honorable Sankok, have a minute. Honorable Asheri, will have a minute. We must make progress so that we also, we have to do a balance. Honorable Sankok, have a minute.
What is the rationale of having it in Kisumu, and yet we have 47 counties? Does it mean that Kisumu is a designated headquarter of a certain region? That is one. Secondly, some of us from Transmara, transporting it all or going to be answerable in Kisumu will not accept from Transmara Sugar Factory. And lastly, we only have one capital city, that is Nairobi. As far as we are still one country, our capital city is in Nairobi. So
Honorable Asheri, have a minute.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, quickly, I want to say that the headquarters only handles administrative matters. And the board is not about only the production, it's also about the supply of sugar. And therefore, covering the entire country. Chair, this will be a very big mistake for us to take the headquarters of Kenya Sugar Board to Kisumu. Let it remain in Nairobi so that it can also access the government headquarters. The ministry is here. Chair, for quick consultation, we don't need to have the headquarters of Kenya Sugar Board in Kisumu. Let it remain in Nairobi, where we already have facilities, and we don't want to condemn these facilities so that, again, it costs the farmers.
Let the members decide. I will put the question that new clause 9A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 9A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 9A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 15B.
Chair, new clause 15B. You have the floor.
Hata nimepotea 15B.
Aye.
Chair, proceed, please.
Thank you, Chair. Aye. New clause 15B, I think that's where we are. New clause 15B, as it is on the order paper, I beg to move new clause 15B as it is on the order paper. The justification, the purpose of this amendment is to ensure that industrial sugar is regulated through licensing by the board to avoid instance where industrial sugar is found at the table of consumers. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question, new clause 15B be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 15B be now read a second time. Will as many as all of that opinion say aye? All the members, you have to vote either way. I will put the question again. I will put the question that new clause 15B be now read a second time. Will as many as all of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 15B be part of the bill. What is out of order, Honorable Kilonzo?
Chair, I think in as much as we want to finish this business, I think we also need time also to look at. There are so many errors. Like now, 15B1. Even in English, when you say a licensed sugar miller shall be licensed by the board, and there's already a license. So what I'm appealing is give us more time so that we earn this thing, so that we don't end up with a product which has too many typos, too many errors. So I would have asked the chair to rule that this is a typo. You cannot have somebody being licensed.
Very good. Very good. That is a typo. I think, Honorable Kilonzo, that is good. You have noted that. I will do a balance between having members speak, but also making progress. I will do that balance so that the members get an opportunity to speak, but also we make progress. So just to conclude on that, I will put the question that new clause 15B be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 3, new clause 16A.
Honorable Chair, new clause 16A.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. New part 3A, as it is in the order paper, it's establishment of the Kenya Sugar Research Institute.
More important than Nairobi, which is also an county headquarters.
Let me go direct to the justification.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, don't be distracted by Honorable Sankok's consultation. Just proceed.
I think it is going to be establishment of a Kenya Sugar Research Institute, which justification is provide for establishment of Kenya Sugar Board Research Institute. Sugar is an important cash crop which has been neglected over time. There is need for a lot of scientific research to be done on the crop and the general ecology that supports the crops such as the soil. Thus, the committee is in the view that there is need to establish an institute that will carry out research specifically for the sugarcane crops and its final products. Thank you.
Honorable members, I will propose a question that new clause 16A be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Afura Munyinyi.
Chair, you had the Honorable Kioni make reference to the cost of production of sugar. One of the things that we must do is to enhance research, come up with varieties that will mature within a short time, varieties that would ensure that we get more sucrose and therefore more sugar, Mr. Chair. But most important is to ensure that technology also is taken into account, and as we maintain factories, as we service them, technology must be taken into account within our factories also. So this is an important amendment that we all agree to support. I therefore support.
Honorable Mary, 1 minute.
Chair, thank you, Chair. This is a very, very important amendment, Chair, especially on the establishment of the Kenya Research Institute or Kenya Sugar Research Foundation. Chair, I think it is very important and that we have the right variety. that mature early, as the honorable member said, and also that has a higher sucrose content. And that means we shall be able to fight the issue of cheap and imported sugar. Chair, I also want to say that this institute, like any other, is going to serve the issue of research and development, which is very vital in any other body or any other institution in this country. Without research and development, we can't do much. So this is a very vital sector for, and as the bill shows, it is supposed to almost run semi-autonomously from the board so that it is more efficient and to carry out these duties. I support, Chair.
I put the question that new clause 16A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 16A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16B.
Chair.
I beg to propose that new clause 16B be part of the new bill.
Be read a second time.
Oh, sorry. Be read a second time. Sorry. Be read a second time. And this is to do with the functions of the institute. And the justification is that it provides for functions of the institute as listed in A to Z, A to X. So you can just read it as it is in the order paper. Or in the bill.
I propose the question that new clause 16B be now read a second time. It's more related to what we have just passed. I therefore put the question that new clause 16B be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 16B be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16B be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16C.
Honorable Chair.
I propose that new clause 16C be read a second time. It is, as it is in the order paper, management of the institute shall be based in the board which shall consist of. This is mainly management of the institute. The justification clearly goes this way. It provides for the management of the institute. The provision establishes the board of the institute and the composition of the institute.
I propose a question that new clause 16C be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Oudo, it's still related to what we have just passed, but a minute.
It is, again, number B and C. 3 persons nominated by farmers from each of the sugar catchment regions under the second schedule. And then we come to C, 2 persons nominated by farmers from each of the sugar catchment region under the same schedule. What is it? What are we saying here? Why not just say 5 instead of having 2 separate B and C? Exactly what are you trying to say here? Probably Chair can explain so that we understand it does not become another typo or misstatement.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, that's actually a fair note. Honorable Chair, what is the difference between B and C?
Yeah.
Rather than just say 3 persons. 5 persons.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it was repeated. It should be 5 persons, and we just forget about the other and cancel the other one.
So is that a notice of a further amendment on your part?
Yes, I should, to rectify that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll consider that as a further amendment. Honorable Nikal, you want to have a minute on that?
Just a little bit on that. Maybe I don't have the details, but we may also need to know how many of these catchment regions. When you have a number, it is good to know how many the catchment regions are, so that you can see the equity in the distribution that can take place. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mary, so that then we go.
Chair, I think I do agree with Honorable Undo that actually let's have 5 persons from the catchment areas. And we are actually talking about nominations, Chair, because the board members are elected competitively. But on this issue, we are saying let them be nominated because these are persons with knowledge in the sugar industry. If actually we go for elections, you'll realize that, in competitive elections, you can have different ideas and knowledge, and they can elect somebody who is not having the knowledge. So in this case, we are asking that they be nominated, but they come from the 5 regions. 2, Chair, that the institute will have its own board. The reason why we are saying this, Chair, is that the earlier sugar board or the earlier sugar research foundation, which is almost next in my constituency in Kibos, was actually being mismanaged by the sugar board, the previous sugar board. So in this case, when it serves its own board chair, it will actually be semi-autonomous and it will run its affairs efficiently from interference from the sugar board. So I support that, Chair.
Very good. I will,
Thank you.
Honorable Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Very well. I think it's spoken very well on that. And I think since we had the sugar catchment areas, which we had the upper region, the lower region, and the coastal region. So I think 2 will be from the upper region, 2 from the lower, and 1 from the coastal region. I think that will work clearly.
So you are moving that in an amended version, right?
Yes.
Say 5.
It will be 5. That is actually. I think it just must be a typo because we had actually said 5.
Okay.
Not 3.
I put the question that new clause 16C, as further amended, be now read a second time. With as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 16C, as further amended, be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16C, as further amended, be part of the bill. With as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 16D.
Chair.
New clause 16D be read a second time as it is on the order paper. And I go directly to the justification or the rationale. That is 16D. Provides for the application for some of the provisions that govern the board to govern the institute. These are provisions such as conduct of business, etc. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 16D be now read a second time. I'll put the question that new clause 16D be now read a second time. With as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I'll propose a question that new clause 16D be part of the bill. I will put the question that new clause 16D be part of the bill. With as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 16E.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. New clause 16D, new clause 16E be read a second time as it is. It's for funds of the institute shall be consist of, it's to deal with funds of the institute. And I'll go direct to the justification, 16E, which says the funds of the institute provides for the source of funds for the institute. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 16E be now read a second time. I will, yes, let's have 2 members. Honorable Whip.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want maybe to understand the English applied in 16EA, where the money is remitted by the board. And you know we have 2 boards here, the Institute Board and the Sugar Board. So for this perspective, I would want us to be very specific, Chair, that the money you are talking about is the money from the Sugar Board to the Institute. So you have to clarify, because the Institute also operates under board, and now we are talking of money from the Kenya Sugar Board.
Okay. Well, Honorable Udo.
Further to that clarification, Chair, currently the Kenya Agricultural Livestock and Research Organization is heavily funded to undertake research. Will it not be in order to ask them to also give a percentage of that funding to KEFRI? Because again, they sit on the board, they are heavily funded, and actually the premier research organization in agricultural matters. They should be compelled or required to give part of their funding to the KEFRI.
As much as the research is basically in the sugar industry, but to leave it that this research is only being funded from the industry, and yet really this board should be really a saga in the Ministry of Agriculture. I don't see why we really shouldn't make provision that the ministry should actually fund it. I'll take, for example, Kenya Medical Research Institute is a saga in the Ministry of Health, and it is one of the bodies that receives money from the ministry. So this one looks to me like it is being left purely from the industry. Should the industry get into problem, the research also gets into problem. So it may be need to look at if should it not even get money from Parliament through the parent ministry.
Is it not there under C? 16
It's weak.
C. Under 16 EC. C. The monies from any other source as approved by the. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. Let's make progress. There is something Honorable Hui raised and Honorable the Nyikala, the other members raised. Do you want to weigh in on them?
I just want to touch on what Mheshimiwa Wangwe Whip had raised, that I think the definitions are also on the clause 2, where it defines exactly what the board and all the definitions. So I thought that will capture on that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Honorable Mary, you have had a stab on this one. Have a minute, Honorable Mary.
Thank you, Chair. I think what Honorable Nyikala has raised is very important, Chair, and I think that is covered in B. And any monies received by an institute from grants and donations, and I think this talks about the research fund. I think, Chair, you know that in this country, research fund is supposed to be 2% of the GDP. So in that case, any monies, meaning that it can be from the sugar levy, and at the same time from the grants like the Sugar Research Fund. Thank you.
Honourable members, I will put the question that new clause 16E be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 16E be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16E be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16F.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. New clause 16F, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. And this is the Director General of the Institute. And I go directly to the justification for purpose of time. 16F, Director General of the Institute, creates that office of the Director General of the Institute to be in charge of the day-to-day operations of the Institute. Thank you.
Honourable members, I propose a question that new clause 16F be now read a second time. I'll put the question that new clause 16F be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 16F be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16F be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 3B, new clause 16G.
Honorable Chair.
New part 3B, which is appointment of crop inspectors. I beg that it to be read a second time. 16G, which is appointment of crop inspectors. Let me go to the justification. 16G. It gives, the justification is that it gives the power to the board to appoint crop inspectors.
Honourable members, I propose the question that new clause 16G be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 16G be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 16G be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16G be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 16H.
Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. New clause 16H be read a second time as it is on the order paper. It is entry of inspectors. Justification.
Yes. What is out of order, Honourable Kilonzo?
I don't know that is me who's out of order or there's an omission.
Yes.
I did not see us going through 16F. We went to 16G.
You must have,
we did 16F.
We did it
after E.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
So, sorry, you're a ranking member. You must have been thinking of some. You must have been busy.
You know, Honorable Kilonzo is a hard-working member of this house. I think he was working on something different.
I'm sure
at that time.
He must have been a little busy, but I'm sure we'll also explain to him if he needs to. Now we justification of entry and inspection. That is 16H. Entry and inspection gives crop inspectors powers to enter, powers of entry to a premises, land, vehicle, to crop inspectors for inspection purposes. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 16H be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 16H be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 16H be now be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16H be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16 high.
Honorable Chair.
16I. Thank you. To be read a second time as it is on the order paper. Powers of entry. Powers of entry. The powers of entry gives crop inspectors power of entry to the premises, land, vehicle, or crop inspectors for inspection purposes. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question, new clause 16I be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 16I be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 16I be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 16I be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 16J.
Honorable Chair.
New clause 16J as it is on the paper, on the order paper, be read a second time. Obstruction of inspectors, justification. The provision creates penalties for acts of obstruction of crop inspectors when they go for inspection. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 16J be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 16J be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Yes, Honorable Udo, what is out of order?
Really nothing out of order. I'm just wondering, the penalty prescribed under 16J2 is fairly punitive. 1 million shilling for a peasant farmer is an overkill. Probably something the chair and the committee can start ventilating or thinking about it as we proceed.
Okay. That is noted. I'm sure the chair has noted. But I propose a question that new clause 16J be part of the bill. I propose a question that new clause 16J be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New part 4A, new clause 24A.
Honorable Chair. New clause 24A.
Thank you.
That is page 1269.
Thank you very much. Page 1269. Thank you. This is part 4A, establishment of the Sugar Arbitration Tribunal. Establishment of a Sugar Tribunal, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. Justification. 24A. This seeks to establish the Sugar Arbitration Tribunal, whose functions will be dispute resolutions of matters relating to the sugar at the first instance before the party proceeds to court. And I think very well this was one of the other ones that had issues which had needed a replacement, and I think this is where it has come now. It was on miscellaneous part, and now it has been put into the main linear of the Act. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 24A be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 24A be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 24A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Order members. I will put the question that new clause 24A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 24B.
Thank you. Chair. New clause 24B be read a second time. The tribunal shall determine it is just jurisdiction of the tribunal. Jurisdiction of the tribunal. Justification 24B. This provision provides for the jurisdiction of the tribunal. These are matters that the tribunal will be handling. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 24B be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Wafula Munyinyi.
Thank you, Chair. It's good when we also remind ourselves. During the last session, during the last sitting, there was an issue with clause 31, and I think those members who are here, we were debating clause 31, which was in relation to this. We were saying if it was to be deleted, and this 24A and B did not go through, then we'll have a problem. But because now this clause 24A and B have been carried or are being carried, then there will be no issue with the deletion of clause 31. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just to add on that, I think to support on that, that is very well. He's actually put it very clearly because there was an issue of the other clause 30, which now, and I think I was trying to explain the other time that it was under miscellaneous, which is not substantive. Now we have put it on the substantive part of the Act, which is going to be now this part 4A, which will deal with the tribunal. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I'll put the question that new clause 24B be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I propose the question that new clause 24B be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24B be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
New clause 24C.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. New clause 24C be read a second time as it is on the order paper. Determination of disputes. Justification. The provision provides for the determination of disputes. Subclause 1 provides for timelines within which disputes can be determined. Subclause 2 provides for appeals to the High Court. Subclause 3 provides for the enforcement mechanism by the magistrates' courts. The committee set to settle on the magistrates' courts, since these are the courts that are close and easily accessible to the farmer as opposed to the High Court. Subclause 4 provides for rules of procedure at the tribunal. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 24C be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 24C be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 24C be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24C be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 24D.
Honorable Chair.
New clause 24D. Thank you, Chair. New clause 24D to be read a second time as it is on the order paper. Powers of the tribunal. Justification or rationale of this. It provides for the powers of the tribunal, which are A, to administer oath to the parties and witnesses to the proceedings. B, to summon witnesses and to require the production of documents. C, to order the payments of costs. And the provision of the law relating to the commissions of inquiry in Kenya is respected too. One, the protection, I hope I'm correct, yes, it's a continuation, got it through. The protection of the members of the tribunals from suits. The form of summons to witnesses to give and to fabricating of this false evidence. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 24D be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Udo.
Chair, number C looks a bit untidy. 24D looks a bit untidy because it talks of different 24D. We have A, B, and C. The first C looks to the order, the payment of costs, and then this and the provisions of the law relating to commission of inquiry in Kenya with respect to. Now, is it relating to the cost? Is it relating, or should this have been D to cover specifically areas relating to the Commission of Inquiry Act in Kenya? It's a bit untidy. It needs to have to be cleaned up. And I'm sure our members must have been looking at it. It needs to be cleaned up.
So it looks like the and is should be a D.
Yes, should be a D.
But it is now captured as the C.
Yeah,
Is a typo? Yeah.
I think it should be a typo. It's something that you can clean up without necessarily anything.
Yeah. That needs to be tidied up, really. Honorable Chair.
Very well. I can still move an amendment now to clean up that and put it as D.
Yes.
If that is okay.
That is okay.
That is in order.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Udo, for noting that. I think that's important. I put the question that new clause 24D be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 24D be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24D be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 24E.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. New clause 24E be read a second time. Removal of members of the tribunal. Then the justification provides for the procedure of removal of members of the tribunal, which are where a member of a tribunal A becomes an undischarged bankrupt, B is convicted of a criminal offense and sentenced to imprisonment for a period exceeding 6 months without an option of fine. So I think this one also we might have to look at the other way, with or without option of fine, so that it captures as we had agreed there. I think that is, I hope we are together there. So I think that one we'll have to do a small amendment there so that it captures with or without.
Okay.
Is incapacitated by reason of prolonged physical and mental illness from performing the duties of the office, violates the Constitution, or is otherwise unable or unfit to discharge the functions of the office. Thank you.
So for that, Honorable Chair, you have done a further amendment, right?
Yes, so that
with or without the option of a fine.
With or without the option of a fine. Thank you.
Yeah, it's important to take on record. Let me propose that question first, Honorable Sankok. I propose a question that new clause 24E as further amended be now read a second time. Honorable Sankok.
I think the further amendment from the chair are not very necessary, because B is convicted of a crime, a criminal offense, and sentenced to imprisonment for a period exceeding 6 months without the option of a fine. You know why we are putting without? If there was an option of a fine and then he pay the fine, he will be able to discharge his duties in the board.
He's already been in prison for 6 months.
No, without whether there is a fine, when there is a fine, they will pay the fine immediately and come out. Yeah. Yes. And
okay.
But if there is no option of fine, then it means 6 months they will not be able to discharge his duties. Or are we saying that any criminal?
Yes.
Any criminal,
So long as we put it for 6
as far as there is a criminal, then I accept that with or without fine, because they are criminals.
Yeah,
so we treat all criminals equally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Honorable members, I will put the question that new clause 24E as further amended be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 24E as further amended be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24E as further amended be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 24F.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. New clause 24F as it is on the order paper be read a second time on vacancy. 24F. There, yeah. Justification is to provide for instance where a vacancy occurs in the membership of the tribunal, how the same is to be filled by the appointing authority. Thank you.
Honorable members, I will propose a question that new clause 24F be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Udo.
I might just need a clarification from the chair. Yes. Because the words reads, where the office of any member becomes vacant, whether by death or otherwise, the Chief Justice may appoint. Is not compulsory the Chief Justice must appoint. Does it mean he contemplates, or the committee contemplated, a situation where the tribunal can sit despite a vacancy, in spite of there being a vacancy? Or would it have been fair enough to state the Chief Justice shall appoint? That becomes mandatory. We should not have a vacancy that remains vacant for necessarily too long. That's what I was just wondering.
Yes, Honorable Kilonzo.
Perhaps the chair needs to explain to us why is it that the new member who has been appointed to replace the deceased will only serve for the remainder of the term of the deceased? What is the rationale of that? In any case, we expect after operation after a long time, we expect there's no one time when we shall be forced to have a new board at any particular time for purposes of historical memory.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Mutunga, then we have the chair.
Chair, we are talking about a tribunal here, and sometimes the term of the tribunal may be coming to an end. We need to give discretion to the Attorney General. We do not have to say must appoint even if it's a few days remaining. So may there does not necessarily mean that you should not appoint.
Honorable Makari.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think the issue be raised by Honorable Kilonzo also needs to be considered, because you know it's important that the board leaves, the members leave the tribunal not at one time, but in a phased out way, so that we have institutional memory in place. And that needs to be considered. It's important. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable, yes, Honorable Mary, 1 minute, one minute, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, actually the issue raised by Honorable Kilonzo is quite important, because if the member has been is appointed for a remainder of the term, and yet we had said here that the board membership shall be staggered to avoid at one time there are no membership in the board. So if there is a remainder of 6 months and a member is appointed, then he is appointed as a new member and shall serve for a full cycle, not necessarily serving for the member who had actually vacated office. So that's actually very important.
Okay, Honorable Sankok.
I think there is a confusion here from Honorable Kilonzo, Honorable Meli, and my good friend from the other side, because there's a difference between a board and a tribunal. A tribunal have a limited lifespan, yes, and it's only for a certain purpose. And once the purpose is solved, then you don't need that tribunal any further. So if it is a board, I accept the information from Honorable Wangwe.
The information is obvious that this is a permanent organ. It's not a commission of inquiry.
Yes. It's a permanent tribunal.
It is.
I accept to be corrected. I think that it is me who have erred. So the rest were very correct. Honorable Meli was correct. Honorable Kilonzo was correct. Makali Muli was correct.
Honorable Chair, why don't you speak to the issues raised by the members?
Thank you. I think it's a very good observation. But you see, as we said, also we are supposed to scatter the board or the tribunal so that they don't end at the same time. I believe it would be better to be given the remainder of the time so that it doesn't clash with others. Because you can imagine maybe you have 2 or 3 members and you give them a full time and the other. So I thought that since it is scattered, we should be able just to be given as also as it is done on the other tribunals. I think that is how it is.
Okay, members, I will let members have a take on this. Honorable members, I will put the question that new clause 24F be now read second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 24F be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24F be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 24G.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. New clause 24G, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. Secretary to the Tribunal, the justification of having. This provides for the appointment of the Secretary to the Tribunal, which is to be done by the Chief Justice. The funds for management of this tribunal in Kenya under the new constitution and order is factored under the judiciary funds. Therefore, the officer to administer the tribunal is appointed by the Chief Justice. Thank you.
I propose a question that new clause 24G be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 24G be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 24G be part of the bill. I'll put the question that new clause 24G be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 24H.
Honorable Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. New clause 24H, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. Remuneration of members and staff of the tribunal. Justification. This provides for remuneration of members of staff of the tribunal. As it, thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 24H be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 24H be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question. I propose the question that new clause 24H be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 24H be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 26A.
Honorable Chair.
New clause 26A. Yes, thank you. New clause 26A, as it is on the red, as it at A. Look for A. Just move ahead. Page 1272. Mapata, thank you. New clause 26A, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. Inspection for quality and safety. The justification. The amendment seeks to protect the environment against the following: discharge of any effluent, dangerous materials, substance, oil mixtures into land, water, air, or aquatic environment. B, release of smoke or any other pollutant to the air that pollutes the environment. C, any hazardous waste and materials. D, import of any hazardous waste. E, mislabeling of any sugar.
Honorable Chair, why do you want to read all that? You don't it's in the order paper, and the members have the order paper.
In
and
fact,
members, the way I look at them, they have really read this.
I think
this bill.
As guided,
Yes,
Chair.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Then that is it. I think that was all.
Okay, that's the import, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 26A be now read a second time. I will put the question that new clause 26A be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 26A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 26A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 30A.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Chamber. New clause 30A, as it is on the order paper, to be read a second time. Representatives of a grower in a private milling company. Justification. Here. Justification. This is to take care of interests of growers that are in an area where a miller is operating. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that new clause 30A be now read a second time. Yes, Honorable Makari.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to support this new clause because it is very important that the outgrowers actually are represented in some of these boards. So it is a very progressive amendment, and I want to support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Honorable. Yes, Honorable Mary.
Chair, this is a very important clause because most of the millers do not have nuclear estates themselves. The farmers or the growers form the basis of their crop. So the farmers actually have to have a say because they are the owners of the crop, the businessman owns the company, and therefore the farmers' welfare needs to be actually looked into by having a representative in that board. As much as the businessman owns the mill, the farmer has a vital say because if the farmer is not there or the grower is not there, the miller cannot also exist. So it's actually a mutual existence. And this bill is going to ensure that both of them are going to have a very good symbiotic relationship.
Okay,
I
very
support.
Well, very well. Okay, let's have a minute of each. Honorable Nikal.
Chair, I support this. I think this is necessary to protection of the growers. But I have an issue with the 3. A person appointed as a director under subsection 1 shall serve for a term not exceeding 2 years. Most of the boards actually we do 3 years. But here we are putting 2 years and we are not even giving an option that they can do another term, which is actually quite brief. In my view, I would have said further amendment, say 3 years, or if we insist on 2 years, because we don't want one person say for too long, then say can serve for one further term. Because 2 years, really nobody has picked the nuances of any industry to serve properly. That's my suggestion.
Honorable Udo, I hope Honorable Chair, you're noting that.
Chair, actually when I went to my constituency and held a meeting with my sugarcane farmers, this is one of the areas they emphasized greatly, especially the way the Busia sugar factory has been harassing them and intimidating them. On the issue raised by Dr. Nikal, this is a private company, and the private company has got a memorandum and article of association that details how often they elect directors. So we are trying just to harmonize that in the event many of them require one year, so yearly basis, so we're trying to harmonize. At every annual general meeting, there's normal election of directors. So we're just trying to harmonize so that at least this person serves for 2 terms, two years, before he hands over the mantle to the next person to avoid overstaying. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Koyo, do you want to say something? Have a minute.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this is in tandem with the government aspiration of people serving for a particular time. The elected directors serve for a period of 3 years. So we want these people to serve for 3 years, renewable through election.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well. Honorable Mutunga.
Chair, we did put this particular provision in view of what we know happens in the industry, and not only this industry, in most of the industries. If you look at the T, as it were, most of the directors appointed by the farmers, they become complacent over time. They are actually bought off. So we want to prevent that buying off. And when they are changed every 2 years, then they will realize that there is need for them to be strong and to remain representative of the farmers. So the farmers must be given an option to change them every 2 years, and they can even renew. They can even take back the same person.
Okay, very well. Honorable Chair, do you have anything to say?
I just wanted to support what Mheshimiwa Udo was saying and also what Mheshimiwa Mutunga was saying. And I think we deliberated on this thing at length during the winnowing process. And I think that's how we arrived at this. So I think it should just remain as it is. Thank you.
Honorable members, I'll put the question that new clause 30A be now read a second time. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 30A be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 30A be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Schedules. First schedule.
Honorable members, I propose the question I propose the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you have an amendment.
Thank you very much, Chair. I propose that first schedule be part of the bill and be read a second time as this on the order paper. The reason for this is that there was it did not have a title, or that the provision of this Act, Conduct Business Affairs of the Board, did not have a title, and we put a title as it is. And the justification is that the schedule of this bill lacked a title, thus the need for inclusion of a title. Thank you.
Okay, that's straightforward. I propose a question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the honorable chair. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose a question that the second schedule be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you have an amendment to that. Second schedule.
Thank you. Second schedule, as it is on the order paper, be read a second time. Justification. Second schedule, the justification is there. Justification is the intention of this schedule is to give guidelines of the entering into agreements with the actors of the sugar sector. The proper word would therefore be guidelines and opposed to agreements.
Honorable members, I propose a question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the honorable chair. I now put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the honorable chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Third schedule.
I propose the question that the third schedule be part of the bill. Mover, Honorable Chair.
I propose that the third schedule be part of this bill and read a second time, as it is on the order paper. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm looking for the justification. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think justification is on the order paper. That's all. Thank you.
No, you're done. Well, the Honorable Chair, you have really...
It is on the order paper, yes.
Yes, you are doing well. Honorable members, I propose a question that the third schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair. I put the question that the third schedule be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the third schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New schedules. First schedule S2.
Honorable Chair, please move the second reading.
Sorry?
You are consulting. It's okay,
Yeah,
but you should now move the second reading of the second schedule S2.
Second reading S2.
Yes. It's the second reading now. Take your time, look at your papers.
So many papers.
Page 1277 of the order paper. First schedule S2. Page 277 of the order paper. Yes, let him consult his papers so that then we do the right thing. Give him the mic. Yes, Honorable Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just a minute. This is the new schedule that I beg to move the new schedule as it is on the order paper, which comes in as the first schedule as it is on the order paper. Am I correct?
No, the new schedule is now S2. It's the one dealing with the delineation of sugar catchment areas.
Yes.
So that becomes a new schedule completely. So you need to move for the second reading of that new schedule because it's new.
So I'm moving it for the second reading, the new schedule. Delineation of sugar catchment areas.
Yes, the justification.
Justification on this is the clustering of the purpose of this appointment is for the board to provide for under clause 5 of this bill. It is therefore administrative and does not cluster the farmers into zones.
There's some. Oh, it's okay. The clerk, please consult with the chair so that the chair does what is right. We can take a minute for you, chair, so that we don't recommit that again. Honourable members, let's give the chair a minute so that then he consults with the clerks. Honourable Afula Munyenye, you can't speak because there is nothing on the table now until he moves, unless it is a point of order. Yes, we don't have anything on the table until he moves the second reading. No, it's okay, Chair. It's okay, Chair. Then you have done nothing wrong. Consulting is important, so that then we do the right thing. Honourable Chair, you have the floor now.
So thank you. So elimination of sugar catchment areas, which we changed them into 5 areas or regions. Let me put it that way. But like as I explained, that this is only for administrative purposes. It has nothing to do with clustering farmers into zones. So we'll have the region and the Rift region, which falls under Kericho, Nandi, and Uasin Gishu. Upper Western, which is Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. Lower Western region, which is Busia, Kakamega, Siaya, Vihiga. South region, which is Homa Bay, Kisumu, Migori, and Narok. Coastal region, which is Kwale, Lamu, and Tana River. Thank you.
Honourable, let me propose a question first. Honourable members, I propose a question that the new schedule, the new first schedule S2 be now read a second time. Yes, let's start this way. Let's start with Honourable Makari coming down now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, while I support this first schedule, the new one, I'm worried that for purpose of posterity, Mr. Chairman, it could also be good to leave it a bit open for those who might join in future, because we might have sugar growing areas which are come up into the future, Mr. Chairman. And once we look at it like this, it's like saying nobody else should attempt to grow sugar in this country. And I just thought there was a small opening for new counties who might join sugar growing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Before I come this way, let me have a minute of each. Honourable Udo, you can't speak before Honourable Nyikana. Really.
Thank you. Chair, I actually rise to support this. I think this is very important. It actually solves a big problem that the chair referred to of zoning. So I think it's important. And remember, actually we need to pass this, because already in the other parts of the bill, we have actually made reference to it, even the regions. So I support it.
Honourable Udo, a minute.
Chair, I support, and we need it to be very clear to members of public and the sugarcane farmers that in no way do we any intention of introducing zoning. Zoning was removed from the bill purely for administrative purposes and purpose of election of directors to the board. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Sankok, yes, we have a minute of each.
Honorable Chair, for purposes of election, this is okay. But as the other member has said, that it should be left opening, a small opening, because Narok, for instance, borders Nakuru. And I know places in Nakuru which may soon forget maize farming to go into sugarcane farming. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it should also have an opening. And I know areas like Meru may also have some areas that can support actually sugarcane farming, Honorable Speaker. So, let us not close, let's leave a small opening. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Nkada.
Thank you, Chair. As I stand to support, I would like the Chair of the committee to confirm if we have sugar in Narok. I'm not sure about that.
Honorable Whip. Honorable Whip. Honorable Asheri, not I know you are once a whip, but I'll give you a chance. Let's have the current one.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm a bit cold-feeted on this catchment delimitation. The reason is, Honorable Chair, farmers tend to suffer when we are not associated with a particular miller in terms of where are you taking the product. Honorable Chair, I want to persuade my colleagues to look at it twice. The reason being, Honorable Chair, whereas we have done away with zoning, we are tending to say, if you are producing cane in Kericho, how are you assigned to the various millers near your catchment zone? Therefore, that direct, Honorable Chair, will be a representative of those millers or those mills next in the neighborhood. Therefore, Honorable Chair, whereas the majority have it the way they have done, but it's an issue which we need to look at before we really put a vote for the members. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Asheri.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, once a whip, always a whip. So when you when you mention of a whip, you need to qualify with the name. Honorable Chair.
I agree with you, Honorable Asheri. It is noted.
Chair, this was an issue that we deliberated under the winnowing, and I think the sponsor of this bill will go a long way to also support, because Chair, there are two proposals here of the first schedule. There is one that we proposed, the one that aligned companies with the counties, because the decisions we will make here, given that this is a purely agricultural role, we must align it to the county so that we don't give a problem to the county assemblies when they are making decisions that would affect this sugarcane production. And that's why, Chair, we need to be very careful on which of these two schedules that we need to go for. For me, I'll go with the one we agreed in the under winnowing.
Okay, Honorable Mutunga, then we'll be coming to a closure of this.
Thank you very much, Chair. So, Chair, let me remind the members that at some point when we were forming the board, we said there will be 5 farmer representatives. How do we elect the farmer representatives? Farmer representatives are not picked, they are elected. So these clusters or catchments, we are identifying even to make that easier for us. So those from those counties, the farmers, sugarcane farmers from those counties will form some kind of other cooperative or something that will give them opportunity to elect their representatives, and they can be rotating over time.
Okay.
That is the essence of having this zoning, as it were. Also, co-locating these zones with the processing capacity. But the legislation does not bar anybody to take their sugarcane wherever they want.
Honorable members, let's let the members decide on this one, really. Yes, I can't leave out Honorable Afura Omunyinyi being the sponsor of the bill.
Chair, I do appreciate that there was indeed a lengthy discussion on this particular clause during winnowing. But at the same time, I think it is important that it is made clear that the catchment area should not just be limited to election only. It also has to consider matters of administration, and to ensure that there is order within the sector. You know what? One of the things that has killed this sector, Mr. Chair, is the lack of order. It is the lack of control. It is the lack of discipline. How do you ensure now discipline? How do you ensure there is order? If you just leave this catchment open, we do not want sounding yes, but there has to be some kind of level of order, ensuring that this region, members of the region, are the ones operating within that region, but not the ones from outside the region coming into that region. How do we ensure that happens?
Okay, Honorable Obo Mohamed.
Asante bwana mwenyekiti, mimi naunga mkono. Lamu, Tana River na Kwale angalau nao wawe na mwakilishi wao. Na hiyo mingine tunangojea. Mambo ya headquarter kuweko mbali na Lamu, sisi kule ni mbali sana. Usafiri unakuwa ngumu. Tunangojea hiyo tubadilishe.
Sasa hiyo ni nini?
Asante.
Order members, I will put the question that new first schedule S2 be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that the new first schedule S2 be part of the bill. I put the question that the new first schedule S2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
First, second, third schedules.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. I beg to propose that first, second, and third schedule be read a second time as it is on the order paper. And justification of this one is very simple. It is to flow with the schedules, because now we will have the bill will be amended, renaming the first, second, and third schedules as second, third, and fourth schedule respectively. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I propose a question that the first, second, and third schedule be now read a second time. I put the question that the first, second, and third schedule be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose a question that the first, second, and third schedule be part of the bill. I put the question that the first, second, and third schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, Honorable Chair.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I beg to propose that clause 2 be read a second time as it is on the order paper. And this is in terms of interpretation. Sorry. Thank you. And I think that is it. I think this one is very self-explanatory. Yes. This is just definitions of terms. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair. I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill, no amendment to it. I therefore put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose a question that clause 1 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to it. I therefore put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, congratulations. We are done with that bill. Mover of the bill. Mover.
That's me.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move for recommittal. Reporting.
Order. The recommittal will come much later. Honorable.
All right. There. Sorry about that, Chair. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendments. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Honorable members.
Honorable members, shall we have the mover? The chairperson, actually.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move recommittal. I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House be amended by inserting the word subject to recommittal of the following clauses. Clauses 5B, new clauses 15A, 15B, 16C, and clauses 18 and 26. And clauses 26, and I also request the Honorable Tiren to second the motion.
Honorable Tiren.
Just second.
All you need is to second.
Just bow.
Sawa. It's okay, I'll second that.
What is out of order, Honorable Kilonzo? No, Honorable Kilonzo. It's okay, I can tell what you want to say. I'll give you a chance. We'll prosecute the one of Wafula Mnyi to the end. Then a number of you also have recommittal. Is that okay? Honorable members, I propose a question, which is that the motion for agreement for the report of the Committee of the Whole House be amended by inserting the subject to the recommittal of the clauses raised by Honorable Wamunyinyi. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the motion of agreement with the report of the Committee of the House be amended by inserting subject to the recommit of the clauses raised by Honorable Wafula Mnyinyi. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, we have quite a number of members doing recommittal. That is by Wafula Mnyinyi. We have one by Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the whole House be amended by inserting the word subject to committal of clause 9A. Honorable Speaker, because the issue of the sugar...
Order, member. We are not prosecuting it. You read that.
Okay.
You know, when it will be brought back, now you will have the opportunity to explain what and why.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We can have an headquarter in Kisumu. So, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the whole House be amended by inserting the word subject to the committal of clause 9A, and I also request Honorable Benjamin Washali, the former minority whip, to second the motion.
Honorable Washali. Give him the mic. Clerk, give him the mic. Honorable Bashir, your mic seems open.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you. Thank you. Before I second, I wanted to just correct my brother that he was my former majority whip. I rise to second, and Chair and Speaker, for your information, my constituency has the biggest factory in this republic, and we should be asking ourselves, how did it collapse? We used to have our AGMs in Kisumu.
Honorable Bashir, you know, this is just a recommendation. I'm sure when this issue comes back,
yes,
you will get an opportunity to speak
Thank you.
to it. This is just a recommendation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to second.
Okay. Honorable members, order. Order, honorable members. I propose a question. Order, members. I propose a question which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the whole House be amended by inserting the words subject to the committee of the clauses raised by Honorable Sankok. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the whole House be amended by inserting subject to the committee of the clause raised by Honorable Sankok. With as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. Nay. The nays have it. We shall have the one by Honorable Kilonzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there's too much consultation. I can barely hear myself. Honorable
Kilonzo, there is a point of order by Honorable Sankok. What is out of order?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we don't have enough quorum in this House.
Order, members. Order, members. When a member and the Honorable Sankok, order, Honorable Sankok. When you have raised the issues of quorum, you cannot leave the House. So, honorable members, Honorable Sankok has raised the issues of quorum. We cannot ignore that, what the member has raised. I will order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes. And Honorable Sankok, you can't leave the House when you have raised the issues of quorum. 10 minutes.
Uko salama?
Nilipeleka zile vitu kwa processing. So nimesubmit all of them this morning.
Tumepeleka leo. Sasa ni step.
The next step is we fill form. Alafu sasa wako na all the documentation. They are now filling.
Wana fill details for the embassy.
Yes, for the embassy.
Lakini wengine Amerika mpaka uende mwenyewe. That's so long as you remember. Because when my daughter was going there, I had to go there in person.
That's different. Here, because tunaandikia foreign affairs, kuna barua kila kameandika. So we are waiting watuambie kama tunaenda ama
waliza kata mambo ya Afrika tu.
No, I think what they usually do, they deal with personality, not with so you can easily see yake inaenda na so and so, lakini kifika mahali pengine na mtu mmoja na but let's see by tomorrow tutajua.
By tomorrow tutajua. Haya. Sawa. Wacha tuende, nataka niende Amerika pia nikutafute kitu kidogo.
Yes.
Unajua kuna pressure ground na hii.
I know. No umeshinda. Sasa unajua zuri umeshinda hiyo nini? Juzi.
By election sasa bado wananiingia kidogo. Wanasema tafadhali mpatie sasa yake tano ili aweze kufanya. Inajulikana lakini lazima tukiseti. Because I on my own. Hii watu walikuwa huko ndio pesa ya serikali lakini sasa yeye alipi peke yangu. Sawa, in case of anything you just sawa utaniambia. Bora nitapatikana kwa mbele. Yeah, it should be. Shida ni between Wajaluo na Waluhya tuko na shida. Tuko na shida. Because hatutaki sisi iende kwa Wajaluo hapo Kisumu. Take possession.
Take possession.
Na utunyang'anye.
Nikirudi kwa the next one I let you. Ali inaweza kuja kesho.
Because kesho niko na flight ya 5. That's what I was asking. No, I'll come. Si itakuwa within the first 1 hour. Yo. Okay,
so I'll talk to you.
No.
I'll talk to you.
Because I'll be there for an hour.
Until today, Wednesday, 13 October 2020.
Fungua hiki. Order members. Order members. What is that consultation by Honorable Obo Mohammed? That is an agitated conversation and consultation. Okay, order members. We don't have the numbers. Order members. We have not been able to raise the numbers now. And in the circumstances, the time being 12:31 p.m., this House started adjourned until today, Wednesday, 13th October at 2:30 p.m.
The